All right, everybody, we're going to talk through Lesson 3 in Unit 2. I'm not quite sure what page we're on because I have the wrong book in front of me, but open up to Lesson 3, Unit 2, more about constants of proportionality. And we're going to skip this very first activity, this 3.1. The directions are kind of weird. It's not my favorite assignment. So we're going to skip that. And we're going to go to the next lesson, which involves millimeters and centimeters. And my pages might be a little strange from yours, so I'm going to put this little millimeter and centimeter ruler on the page where these questions are written. And I think your book looks like that. All right, so the question is, there are two ways of thinking about this proportional relationship between millimeters and centimeters. Okay, so this is what we're looking at, the relationship between millimeters and centimeters. And let's look at this ruler. We have centimeters in the top, and we have millimeters on the bottom. And what do you notice? This is kind of like a double number line. What do you notice about that relationship? Every one of those centimeters happens to have 10 millimeters in it. Every 1 centimeter has 10 millimeters in it. So we're going to figure out and fill in this table for this first question. If you know the length of something in centimeters, we can calculate its length in millimeters. If something is 9 centimeters long, so let's say this is 5, 6, 7, 8, about 9 centimeters would be about to there. How many millimeters long would it be? Well, what I can see is that every time I know the number of centimeters, to get the number of millimeters, I'm multiplying by 10. And multiplying by 10 is easy. This is why we like the metric system. If I multiply 9 by 10, I would get 90. If I multiply 12.5 by 10, I get 125. It's nice and easy. All I have to do is move the decimal place. Multiplying by 50 by 10, I get 500. Multiplying 88.49, what a strange number. But to multiply it by 10, all I have to do is move that decimal one place. 884.9. Let me fix that. 884.9. So if something is 88.49 centimeters long, it is 884.9 millimeters long. So we've completed the table. And I want you to complete this along with me, okay, as we go through this video. The next question is, what's the constant of proportionality? Well, that's the same idea as the scale factor, right? What am I multiplying by to go from left to right? I'm multiplying by 10. So I say the constant of proportionality is 10. That's it. It's just the number 10. There's no units to it. There's no times 10. All I say is the constant of proportionality is 10. So the next section here asks about, what if we're going backwards? What if we know the length of something in millimeters, and I want to say its length in centimeters? If something were 70 millimeters long, let's see if that's 50 centimeters, 60 centimeters, millimeters, 70 millimeters, how many centimeters would that be? Well, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 centimeters. Easy to do that too, right? I take that 70, the decimal would be here, and I move the decimal one place backwards. That's because I'm dividing by 10. That's what decimal means. We're working in a base 10 system. So how could I change that next one? 245 millimeters. I could divide by 10. I could do it longhand. I could use my calculator, or I could know that 245, the decimal is here, and if I divide by 10, it's now going to be here. 24.5 millimeters. If something is 4 millimeters, 4 millimeters is little, right? That's a little tiny amount. In fact, up here on my ruler, 1, 2, 3, 4 millimeters is right about there. That's small. That's less than 1 centimeter. How much less than 1? Well, let's see. It's 4.0. I'm dividing by 10. I'm going to move that decimal one place that way. That gives me 0.4 millimeters. Same thing with the next one. I'll move that decimal over one place, 69.91 millimeters. Okay? What is the constant of proportionality this way? Now remember, when we talk constant of proportionality, we're talking about what do we multiply by. So we're clearly dividing by 10, But if we're dividing by 10, that's the same as multiplying by 1/10 or by 0.1. So our constant of proportionality here would be 0.1, or if you want to, you could say 1/10. Now this next question is the important one here. How are those two things related to each other? This constant of proportionality and this constant of proportionality. How are those two related to each other? I want you to write that down, okay? How you think they're related to each other. Okay, and now we have this next activity, and this is an important one. It's an important one. It's a little complex, so let's play along here. On its way from New York to San Diego, so we've got a plane flying over Pittsburgh, St. Louis, Albuquerque, and Phoenix. So it's flying across the country, flying over those cities. And the important piece here is that it is traveling at a constant speed. Complete the table as you answer, and we'll explain your reasoning. So the first question says, going from Pittsburgh to St. Louis, so that's about here to about here. It takes 1 hour to go 550 miles. When we talk about speed, we're talking about miles per hour. And in 1 hour, I'm going 550 miles. That means that my speed is 550 miles per hour. So right away, I know what that is in the chart. Here's the important part. Again, let's go back here. This plane is traveling at a constant speed. You know what that means? It means that every one of those answers in the third column is going to be the same. It's going to be 550. And it's going to be 550. So what we have to do is figure out what's going here and then what's going here. I'm going to do this last one first because it's a little bit easier than getting the first one or getting the one above it. And I'm going to do this like I do a lot of things this year. I'm going to put this in a T-chart, okay? So it's taken 1 hour to go 550 miles. I learned that from here, from in the chart. Question is, how long will it take to go 330 miles? So what was my constant of proportionality, or my scale factor, to go from here to here? I multiplied by 550, which means that to go from here to here, from right to left, I'm going to divide by 550. So here's where my calculator comes in handy, unless I'm really good at simplifying fractions. 330 divided by 550 gives me 0.6, I believe. I think that's right. Okay, 0.6, what would that be in terms of time? Well, that's 6/10 of an hour. 6/10 of an hour. Here's a weird question. How many minutes is 6/10 of an hour? Let's see. I've got my clock. 60 minutes. 1/10 of an hour would be 6 minutes. We don't usually count hours like that. 1/10 of an hour would be 6 minutes. 2/10 would be 12 minutes. 3/10 would be 18 minutes. 4/10 would be 24 minutes. 5/10 would be 30 minutes. And 6/10 would be 36 minutes. Okay, so it's 0.6 hours, but 36 minutes. Those are the same thing, and I would accept either one of those answers. Just make sure you have your units in there correctly. I'm going to do that last question, which is a hard part, the difficult challenge question, because look at what they gave us for time units here, 1 hour and 42 minutes, and they're making announcements at school right now. I'm going to pause for a second and join in again. So here's where this got complicated. Why in the world would they give us 1 hour and 42 minutes? Well, here's what I know. 42 minutes, we're talking about 42/60ths of an hour. 42/60ths, right? 42 minutes out of 60. And not so coincidentally, 42 and 60 are both divisible by 6. If I divide those by 6, I get 7/10. Which means that 1 hour and 42 minutes is the same as 1.7 hours. That was a hard catch right there. Knowing the 42, knowing the multiplication tables, 42 is divisible by 6, and thinking about hours being divided into 60 minutes helps us out. So now to get that distance between St. Louis and Albuquerque, we're going to multiply by 1.7. And when I did that, I got 935 miles would be the distance from Albuquerque, which is in New Mexico, which is one of these things, Albuquerque and Phoenix, I think. Okay, so finish these questions up and then kind of highlight the lesson summary and then do the practice problems that were posted at the end of the lesson, at the end of the assignment, okay? And we'll see you later. Bye-bye.